I'm Devin Jones.
And I'm Craig Jones. And we are a father-son review team. And we watched the long-awaited Stranger Things Season 3.
What was it, like 2 years?
No, it was just a year.
No, it was 2.
It was a year.
It was 2.
It was not. Because the one came out, and it was a little over a year.
Yeah.
Maybe
not fully 2. Because
it came out in October. Season 2 came out in October around Halloween, and this one came out 4th of July. So, no, it wasn't no 2 years.
I thought it was.
No, it's just stop.
No, wait. Because it came out, and I watched all of them, and then they didn't give any release dates or whatever, so I was hoping that, like around October again, they were going to release it, and it didn't.
Let's get to this review.
It was longer.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
we can check all that out later.
Flip it. Review.
Yeah, review. We're going to spoil this review, but we're going to do a parent's guide first.
Parent's guide. It's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, where we don't spoil it, okay? We'll maybe tiny bit, but then after the parents review, then we'll get into it.
Yeah, it's going to be a spoiler review.
So let me talk to parents. Parents, Stranger Things Season 3, I would not let little kids watch this at all. All the Stranger Things seasons have been creepy. They're all like, they earn their TV 14. I think this one is mislabeled. I think this should be a TV MA. This is nasty. There is some violent, gross stuff happening.
Like constantly, every episode, something gross happens.
Yeah, it's like graphic violence now, man. I mean, it was always kind of graphic, but it always teetered that edge. This has gone over the R-rated mark. If this was in the theaters, this would be R-rated, I think.
Because in the other seasons, the most blood you would see is when they cut their hand or something.
But you would the demi-dogs when they were eating people. That was kind of gross.
Yeah, that was probably the most violent thing up till this season. But this season just nasty.
Things are exploding, guts going everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
and the very first episode, there's dudes get blown up with lightning and crap, and they got their faces are melted off.
People are getting
blood
eaten,
spikes.
and it's just gross, man.
Yeah.
And it's very scary. This would be very scary.
Yeah,
for a
this
little
would have
kid.
freaked me out a couple years ago.
For a little kid, I'd say 12 and up. Watch this thing, man. I mean, you know your kid. If they watch the other Stranger Things, they'd probably be okay with this. But it is very dark, very brooding, very violent, and very brutally violent this time.
And more emotional than the other seasons, too. If your kid can't handle more emotional stuff.
I thought it was. I didn't think
it's a little bit more. It was like Max and stuff. It's a little bit more emotional.
I didn't think it was that more emotional.
So.
I think it's less emotional, actually. But we'll get to that later.
In the final episode.
We'll get to that later, though. But no, the movie definitely, I'll call it a movie. It's like an 8-hour movie. It's not for children, okay? This is for young adults and teens and up, okay? So parents, keep the little ones, keep the tykes away from it, okay? All right, we said that. Let's talk about the show.
Yeah, like a dude that we know was just talking about how if he's going through Netflix and and Stranger Things popped up, if it would show the monster or something, the kid would get scared.
And he's got a little kid who goes ooh,
Yeah, every
I think
time
he's 5 or 6. So yeah, all right. So we agree that Stranger Things season 3,
young kids watch this.
Season 3 is not for little kids to watch.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Gross. It's
yeah. There's no nudity. There's no sex in it, but it's just extremely
violent.
There's
a lot of swearing.
There's a lot of swearing in it.
Yeah.
And kids swearing. So if you don't want there's the youngest kid character swears constantly. So if you don't want your kids to be seeing kids swear, then don't watch this. Let's talk about the season. How'd you feel?
Well, I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. I got a little stuffed animal of Dart. He's a demodog. And you can open up a little Velcro patch.
Yeah.
And you pull out the middle stage of Dart, and you can open up the Velcro patch on that and pull out the little slug of it.
Okay, I get that.
Point is, I'm a really big Stranger Things fan. I got a cool sweater too that's upside down and says Merry Christmas, and I got a shirt that says Welcome to Hawkins and Hawkins upside down. Anyway,
I know.
So yeah.
Let's talk about the show. Well, how'd you feel about the season?
So, like I said, I'm a big fan of this show,
right.
And watching the other seasons, I would just sit there and just binge. When I started watching the show, I was I don't know, youngish, so I wanted to sleep. So I would watch 4 episodes in a day. I know I'm...
Talk about the season.
The season.
Yes, the season.
So I went
Season 3.
Season 3.
That's
yes.
what we're talking about on the show. Come on, we're like 5 minutes in, you ain't said
Yeah,
nothing
I know.
about it.
Okay, so
I'm about to
season-
just tell you to shut up and
Shut
go
up.
on. Okay,
Season
all right.
3.
Okay.
All right. Season 3.
Yes.
That was not a whoa. Season 3.
Uh-huh.
So, so I was like sitting there, and I realized it was 3 in the morning. And I was like, wait, Stranger Things is on. So I grabbed a 2-liter of Mountain Dew and some pizza and sat down and turned it on. And I was like, yes, when I heard that theme song. I have never skipped a theme song in this entire show. But this season.
Good song.
Yeah, this season, it surprised me with the nastiness and stuff. And it's like I think that each season it got older as the kids got older.
Right.
Like season 2
Kinda
was a little bit worse than season 1, and this season is meh. I mean, all the kids are like 15, 16 now. One thing is the last official trailer that they posted had a big spoiler in it.
I don't think it was that big a
That's
spoiler.
a big.
It happens like
it happens in like the first episode.
I don't
but
think,
I would have preferred to not know that going
Billy
into
was
it.
going to be the.
Yeah, Billy. Spoiler: Billy becomes the next like mind flayer dude in the season.
Yeah, he hosts it.
And he's bad. He's a bad dude.
Right, because Billy's a bad guy. You know?
I mean, he's starting to become.
No, Billy's.
I mean, he's
that's
not
a spoiler. Billy's dead, man. He can't do nothing else. He's dead.
Well, I mean, I'm saying that like Billy was starting to become more socially acceptable. He's starting to become nicer, maybe a little bit less racist this season.
I wish they hadn't killed him because I really like his character. I thought he could have.
Yeah.
I want him to be a good guy now, and I think he could have been like
He could have been
because he could be. They could have explored it in a way that he become a good guy, but still have those bad intentions in him that his father put in him. So he would just be this. Like they'd be like, Billy, calm down. Billy, stop. You know that. I wish they would have explored that more, but
like,
they can't because they don't kill him. So you know.
Like they didn't have to. They didn't really have to kill him though. They could have stopped it before he died.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was like, she just turned the keys like a couple seconds earlier. You know, but whatever.
Yeah, anyway, we'll let you figure out that later.
I'm gonna talk about Hopper, man. I do not like what they did with him this season, man. I like Hopper. That was my man. And they just played him. I mean, because he was always kind of like a jerk, but a lovable jerk. You understood why he was a jerk. This season, he was just a jerk.
Yeah.
You just like, you want to slap him.
Yeah, he's too much in this season.
He
like
was just
he's like
never
kicking down Elle's door all the time. Like
no, that could have been done if he had played the character the same way he did the first 2 seasons. Kicking down the door would have been funny. But it wasn't funny. It was just like, annoying. Every time he was on screen, I was annoyed. And he's one of the best characters that they have, and they just wrecked him. And so hopefully, I mean, I don't think he's dead because that not spoiler, but that thing at the end when we're talking about not the Americans, it's probably him because you never saw him turn into the blue smoke or whatever.
He's dead.
You never saw him get ripped apart though.
Maybe they didn't want to show it. Maybe they ran out of a budget.
No, they didn't.
If
he died, they would have shown him getting ripped apart, like they showed everybody else getting ripped apart.
But everybody else
by the
getting
blue stuff.
Everybody else getting ripped apart. They're bad guys,
dude.
It was emotionally acceptable.
If you really wanted it to be emotional, you would have ripped him apart on screen.
Yeah, but maybe they just didn't want to do that.
Then who's the American at the end? They say, "Oh, we're going to feed the person to the demigod." Oh, not the American. It's Hopper, dude. Who else would be in there?
Wait, what?
So you didn't watch it?
No, I saw it with the demidog.
Demidog.
No, it's a demogorgon.
I call them demidogs.
No, demodogs are a different thing than a demogorgon.
That was a demidog.
No, it wasn't. I thought it was when it was crawling out, but then it stood up, and I was like, "Oh, snap!"
All right. Whatever. Okay.
I didn't know that demogorgon.
Okay,
maybe it's a new.
What were you gonna say?
Maybe it's like a new evolution.
What were you gonna say?
I was saying like I don't remember like what they said.
They would say get someone. They said, "Oh no, not the American." When
like
they were going to the
Hopper's
cells.
a prisoner there.
Yeah, like he's in. So there's an American in the cell, and it's got to be somebody we know. So I think it's him because you notice when he supposedly died and got ripped apart, nobody else was there because you remember there was a bunch of other like Russian soldiers there, but then when the Americans came down looking, everyone was gone. So I think they took him and split. I might be wrong,
I don't know.
Hey man, you kind of drifting.
That's not a bad theory though.
No, I don't think I think he's the American in the cell.
But
and if they bring him back, let him be, Hopper again.
Yeah. I think towards the end of the season he became that lovable Hopper that we all know.
No, he still sucked.
No,
up until the moment he died, he sucked in that show, man. But I'm telling I think that people were talking about his dad bod because he gained a bunch of weight. I think that was a lot because when he played Hellboy, I think he probably gained a lot of muscle, and then that stuff just turns to flab, man. So I think he just had some of that Hellboy weight on him. But he was just annoying, man. I hated his character the whole season. I hated him. I was like, why would this woman want to date him? It's terrible, you know.
I mean, like, I remember when I see people talking about when he died, they're like, no, Chopper forever. He cannot be dead. And, like, some of my friends are just
Chopper.
Joyce and Hopper.
Oh, I would like Joyce to go get somebody else now, man. I'm like,
I mean,
if they gonna keep him being like that,
if they make Hopper chill out in the next season, if he's not dead,
there was a restraint to his performance before, and he doesn't have it. Now he's just full on jerk.
Yeah,
and he's a good actor.
Maybe
man,
he was still in the Hellboy mental state.
I guess I'm glad we didn't see that movie because that looked like some garbage.
I'm gonna see it whenever it comes on free at some.
Okay, so yeah, we both agree Hopper wasn't the best this season. You know, I really liked. As far as new characters go, I liked, what was her name? Robin. I loved her.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Fantastic. The whole series, I loved her, man.
Yeah,
she was
that
great.
actor did a phenomenal job playing this character.
And since we're spoiling, I love that they fooled both of us. Go ahead, say it the way you were saying it earlier about the whole thing.
About how, like, for the entire season, you know, you're sitting there and you're rooting because you're thinking, like, yeah, at the end of the season, they're definitely going to get together. Steve and Robin, you're hoping for that to happen. But then, like...
that was awesome. I loved it, man.
Should we, like, say what happened?
It's a spoiler review. Say
all right,
it.
So, yeah,
we're just talking about it.
Yeah, they were sitting in the stall, and then Steve started describing her and saying, that's the girl I like. And then she was like, bro, I'm lesbian. Like that, and that was such a good reveal.
Dude, I loved it.
It was amazing. And Steve's reaction, he was like, oh.
I loved it because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
You know? Well, his first, it wasn't just, he had to kind of process it and think about it.
But it was...
Okay. And listen, on a personal note, I love that because my high school girlfriend, we ended up breaking up, and I'm from the 80s, so that was my time. A little while later, she came out to me as lesbian, and that's exactly how it was. I was like, oh, all right, you know, and just roll with it.
Yeah.
Because in the 80s, it was dangerous to come out because people would, you know, beat you up and stuff. But
still happens today.
I love how they played that whole thing because we're so conditioned to think, oh, he's the popular dude and she was the nerd, and of course, the popular dude in the movies ends up with the nerdy girl. Yeah, like, so we're conditioned to think that it's going a certain way.
Yeah,
I love
like
the switcheroo.
The fact
it
that
was great.
For this entire season, Steve's game has just gone. It's horrible.
Poor Steve, man. Steve lost his game. And let's touch upon the fact that Steve get his ass beat like every season. Get his ass whipped. That poor boy gets his ass whipped every time.
And Dustin says that you ain't never want to fight.
Always getting beat down. Every season he gets beat down.
I mean, this one he gets beat, but he's
always getting beat down, man. I'm glad they let him win a fight for a change, but yeah, that poor guy. I like him though, man. I like his character. I think it's grown a lot since I think we used to talk when we talked about season 2. We didn't do a show. This is before we started our show, but talked about how we like the fact that they didn't make him a jerk. They made him like a real person. Yeah, he's the jock and and his girlfriend falls for the nerd dorky guy. But I do like the fact that they made him like a, two-dimensional character. Yeah,
like when the only times he was being jerkish, he was like jealous and like really like depressed about Nancy.
Right.
So it was, he's a good character.
I'm not sure who's Nancy's boyfriend. What's his name?
Jonathan.
I'm not sure I like what they've done with his character. I liked him a little better when he was kind of angst-ridden, and I like that he's come a long way since then, but he's almost like too normalized now.
At the beginning of the show, though, he was weird. Like, he was straight up perv. Like, he was sitting in the bushes taking pictures of Nancy and stuff. Like,
I know, but he went from that to being what he is now.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like the same person. And I know people change, but
in like season 2,
maybe hold on to some of that pervness, that weirdness. He's not weird in this season at all. He's like just a normal guy.
Yeah, he's just a normal, like, well thought out dude.
Right.
Like in season 2, they did him good. Like, he worked.
Yeah, season 2 is my favorite, man. I know people disagree.
I don't know. Like,
I love season 2 the best.
That's a hard thing for me to decide which season I like the best. I know I like season 2 better than season 1, but season 1's still amazing.
Oh yeah.
And then season 3, I don't know where to put it. I don't know if I like it more. I think I like it like about the same, maybe slightly less. I don't know.
As what?
As like season 2.
So season 1 is your favorite.
No. Season 2 is my favorite.
Season 2 is your favorite?
I don't know. Season 2 against season 3. I'm conflicted. I don't know.
So you like season 2 and 3 better than season 1?
I think so. But
that puts you in a minority, man. Most people
I
love
don't know.
season 1.
I don't know.
I
just love all of the seasons so much.
It's a solid show.
It's a hard decision.
I'll tell you. I'll say one thing. This season definitely, this show has always been about. Let's be honest. It's about stealing. They steal from all these different old '80s movies. They just do.
Yeah.
This one though, they really stole some serious plot lines. I mean, I saw Invasion of the Body Snatchers on there. I even saw like some Harry Potter type stuff. When it was, I guess, maybe we'll make a separate video about that. But I even saw some stuff reminding me, like they kind of take it from Potter a little bit. I saw some stuff, even from The Sunken Place. Did you feel that?
When?
There's a part where it's like you guys are biting from Get Out now, man.
What?
It was one of the moments where they were. One of the characters, I can't remember, was falling down. I was like, that's a sunken place.
Yeah, it's like Elle was like falling down, and she looked like she was in the sunken place.
Because the one person came out the tub like, help me, and went back down. And I'm like, this reminded me of Get Out. You know?
Like that's like Millie Bobby Brown. She was doing like the exact same, like they were doing the exact same thing that they do in Get Out when they show the guy sick and screaming and trying to get back up.
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing.
They really stole. And that's what Stranger Things is. They just take a bunch of stuff, steal it, and remix it, and make it like.
I don't really have anything against them for that.
Nah, like, it's okay. Like that dude,
good.
the Arnold Schwarzenegger looking dude, the Terminator. I'm like,
they even called him Arnold Schwarzenegger at one point.
Yeah, they just bit a little too hard. I think this time they was biting on like straight up. Not even trying to hide it, man. Just straight up. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the Blob. The Blob's another big one. I know you probably don't know what the Blob is.
I know what the Blob is.
But that thing was the Blob. It eats people and gets bigger. That's the Blob. You know. Yeah. I mean, it's just, and it looked like the Blob too. I'm like, come on, guys, y'all really biting hard. You know what? Honestly, I didn't like the whole. I liked the whole Russian thing and I thought it was funny. But when they first were like spying in the mall, that stuff was annoying. But then once they found out, when that, what's her name?
Which one?
It's not Robin, is it?
Yeah, it's Robin.
Robin.
He's asked me that 4 times.
Middle age, I'm not ashamed. I have short-term memory issues. The Robin, when she started figuring out the clues, then I liked it because she was so smooth. I liked that character.
Yeah, she was just smooth.
Yeah.
For this whole season, she's just the smoothest, like nicest, funniest person.
And people need to lighten up. I read this article where someone was complaining about the whole Never-Ending Story thing, complaining about it, the song, because they sing the song, and complaining that, it was just so grating experience to hear that and see that, and it was out of place, and it slowed the momentum, and apparently the whole viewing audience feels the way we do.
That was a great scene.
But then I looked at it, because Netflix put that out, as like a little snippet on YouTube, and I looked at the likes and the dislikes. Yeah, it had like 600 dislikes, but 11,000 likes and counting. So, listen, I love that part of the show. I thought it was funny.
It was amazing.
Excuse me.
It was.
I thought it was funny.
It was hilarious because you don't expect it to happen, and he's like, all right, fine, and then they're sitting there silence, and he's just like, look at what you see.
Like, turn around.
It's hilarious.
Like, just lighten up, internet, man. It's stuff doesn't have to always be serious and a downer. It's fun.
It's just hilarious when it happens.
It was funny, man. I enjoyed it. I liked how he had him a woman and nobody believed him. And,
and then just like the whole season, she just wasn't there, and everybody started to be like, Dustin, are you sure she's real? At the end, like.
Yeah, because you didn't really know for sure, but then at the end, that was good, man. Let's apply our rating system to it. I know what you're gonna rate it, so go ahead.
Hit it with the bomb diggity. 8 out of 10. 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 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's our highest praise. I am not going to give it quite a bomb diggity because I did have some issues with it, but a very high worth of popcorn, which means it's extremely well made and it's great.
Like
it's fun.
I was about to say something that's weird, that kind of messed up. A bucket of popcorn with a bomb in it. I was about to say.
Yeah, don't say that.
That's kind of messed up.
The celebration will never let us go back in the theater again. But no, because I did really enjoy it, but I did kind of get a feeling like I was watching a really well-made little 8-hour movie. I didn't feel as emotionally invested in this as I did in season 2, or season 1 for that matter. I liked it. I enjoyed myself thoroughly, but I just didn't have that takeaway where I was like, okay, this is really cool. A lot of it had to do with the character development because the first 2 seasons, especially the second one, which was what I loved about it, is the character development was happening through the plot. It's like when things were happening to them, you saw their characters developing. This one, it's almost like there's a story and then they'd stop to have a conversation, and that's where their character development was. And then they went back in the story and then stopped to talk about stuff, and then the whole romance stuff, and then get back, okay, and now let's get back into the story. It's like it felt like I was watching a bunch of different stories,
but like at the same
on
time,
their own, whereas the other 2 seasons, even when they were off on their own, I still felt like it was one part of one big narrative.
But like every time that they stop from the story stuff to go talk about something, usually when they're talking about something, they're like waiting for something that involves with the story to happen.
Yeah, and I
didn't have a problem with that.
I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. I didn't like it as much as I did the first 2 seasons. I thought it was more natural. This one I could tell somebody wrote it. The first 2 seasons, it didn't feel like I was watching something that someone wrote. I felt like I was watching something happening. And I guess that's
always a really important thing, is to make it in movies, is it for it to feel like it's actually happening and not like somebody wrote it. Like that's when your movie is perfect.
Right.
Like,
and I'm gonna say it because I know I just like to cause trouble, I guess. Season 2 was my favorite. I did love season 1, and I really like season 3. I will definitely be watching season 4.
I will see. I was sitting there talking to my aunt, and I was like, I hope this goes up to like at least season 20. Like, even if the show starts to suck, I'm still gonna keep watching it. It will never suck. Let it die.
Though. Like maybe 2 more seasons and let it be. But and then let it go away for a while and then come back when they're adults. That's what I would do. But I love season 2 the most. I know people don't agree.
I was about to talk about episode 8.
Was that the one where episode 8 where she went off?
I think it was 8.
Where she went, where the whole infamous episode where everyone got so mad because Elle went off to find her sister and all that stuff. I love that episode.
That's a good episode.
I did, man. I loved it. And let me tell y'all why I loved it. I'm from the 80s, okay? Stranger Things has always been this show where you watch it and it's like, oh, look, they're paying homage to an 80s
like when Elle's
movie.
flipping the cars over and stuff.
They're paying homage to an 80s.
That.
You could see that. That episode 8 or whatever, was the first time it didn't look like just a show that was paying homage to the 80s. It looked like an 80s movie. The look, the sound design, the way they were dressed, everything hit the right note. I felt like I was watching an 80s television series. Well, I don't know, like an 80s movie, really. And especially the slick back hair and all, and the trench coats, man, that was badass.
That was very 80s.
And I liked the fact that there were other people like her out there. And I hope that they bring those people back into it. Because imagine if the Mind Flayer got control of one of them and brought them back.
Yo, Duffer Brothers, you hear what we saying right now?
See, people like, oh,
that would be crazy.
It totally took away from the momentum of the story, and I hated it. Blah, 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 blah. No, what if they went and got one of those other little people with the marks on their arm, and the Mind Flayer got control of one of them and brought it to that town?
That'd be crazy.
Looking for revenge.
That'd be crazy.
That would be awesome.
It'd be crazy.
Especially now that Elle apparently doesn't have powers anymore. So they'd have to find a way to.
I mean, she'll probably have him back by season 4.
I loved how they. I mean, they foreshadowed it. You saw it coming with the fireworks because he was talking about it. But I love how they when they all lit the fireworks off on the big blob-looking thing, and they were actually doing damage to it, and they weren't just relying on Elle because that was getting kind of old.
Yeah.
Just guys get in trouble, Elle come save everybody. But this
That was the majority of the season.
But the first 3 seasons, that was the whole thing. But this one, it's like she couldn't do it. So she was losing her power. So then they came in and just started blasting that thing with all those fireworks, and I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because Elle's just always the one. Like, the other people ain't doing nothing. Lucas kind of helps in a situation with the mind flare at one point, but
right.
I mean, it's not nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens.
But this was cool. I felt like
yeah.
the first time they actually all were able to work as a team and fight.
The mind flare, you're like, oh snap, he's about to do something bad, and just
right. Exactly.
bunch of fireworks start going off, entering his mouth and crap. Like it's cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
See teamwork like that.
I enjoy that a lot, man. I saw there was a lot I really. You know what? I'm gonna reverse my rating. I'm gonna give it to Bomb Diggity. It's not perfect, but there were enough moments like that where I really, really enjoyed it. And it's uneven for me, but I think it's still better than most everything else I see on television. So I'm going to go ahead and still keep it up there. I think they have some narrative problems that are developing, and hopefully they'll fix them. But maybe bringing in her sister with some negative influence over. But hey, that's just me. But yeah, I really enjoyed the season, and it's not perfect for me, but I can't hate on something that's done so well and acted so well and executed so well.
One thing that's sad about the whole Billy thing is that there were 2 things that you're really curious about at the end of season 2. Nothing happens. I mean, with the one thing, with Nancy's mom, Karen or whatever her name is, they kind of touch on that a bit.
That was funny. I like
that. And how he's like, yeah.
You know what though? I got a gripe.
What's your gripe?
There's a moment, and I know people are gonna say it doesn't matter, but it matters to me because I was alive then. The moment where she's getting ready or contemplating getting ready to go and meet Billy. There's a song playing, I'm assuming it's on the radio, called "I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight." That didn't come out till 1986. The show was supposed to be 1985. I call BS.
I know that there was something about that with Kentucky Fried Chicken. In the scene when Steve and Nancy are eating Kentucky Fried Chicken with Barb's parents, apparently it wasn't called KFC.
Not yet, no. It was still Kentucky Fried Chicken.
When Steve said KFC, it wasn't called that yet.
Yeah. KFC was like a groundswell because it was Kentucky Fried Chicken, but people were starting to call it KFC, so eventually they just call it KFC. Because sometimes I guess some of the stuff you're eating wasn't really chicken, so they couldn't call it that no more. I don't know what happened. Still good, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, that song was not released then, so I don't want to hear it in the show. But that was a minor gripe, you know.
But yeah, so
out of all the 80s songs they could play, they picked the one that wasn't, and the song didn't even fit the scene. It's there's other songs you could get, but hey, whatever.
But I also wanted them to touch on, I wanted to know why Billy's racist. What's up with that? Because I mean, maybe they didn't.
I'll tell you why. Because Stephen King bad characters, the type of character he's based on, were always racist in his books. That's the reason.
I remember I was watching a video, some dudes talking about it.
It was the 80s. There was a lot of racism back then.
And they were saying it would have been hilarious. It would have been funny if, when they're showing you the fun times he had with his mom, if the mom was, the reason he was racist. And she was like, all right, but stay away from those black people. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been funny. I don't think he really was. I don't think he was racist. He was just a jerk. He was just a jerk, so he was just.
There had to be something involved with that race with Lucas.
He was just like that, though. He was just gonna hate people, and it's just the way it is.
I think. I mean,
when people are racist, it's usually because they just hate in general. So
it could just be that he just didn't like Lucas. That he wanted Max to not be with any dude.
He was just gonna find any reason to mess with somebody. He's just a jerk, man. Yeah. Which I think a missed opportunity to kill him, because I think he could have been a really interesting character.
Yeah, Billy's a very interesting and a lot of people's favorite character with this stuff.
You know,
it's people just want more context on Billy, but
he's gone.
Nope.
Yeah, he's gone.
Straight up.
Yeah, of course, he's dead. Of course. But and you know, there was that theory that I had, because I don't really do a lot of fan theories. I usually just like to sit back and watch a show and let the writers, because then I don't have to be disappointed, you know?
Yeah.
But I was a little disappointed because, my thing was always like I had always hoped that the Mind Flayer was a construct of, what's his name?
Will.
Don't. I'm middle-aged. I have short-term memory issues. Will, I'd always, because like in the first episode where the first season when he got taken to the Upside Down, I'd always hoped that the Mind Flayer was really something that he conjured up out of his dark side.
Yeah.
And being in the Upside Down, it was able to turn into this massive, because he had so many problems. He had emotional problems already.
Yeah.
Like, to do with his dad and stuff. I mean, and he just wasn't liked at school and all that stuff. And then when he came back in season 2, I thought the reason that the Mind Flayer was coming to him is because it was secretly him that created it. So it was just like a dark version of him separated from himself. But now that's not what happened, because the Mind Flayer comes up and goes into somebody else. I'm like, all right. I just thought that would have been a dark, cold twist to put on it, but they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that just reminds me why I don't do fan theories, because that's a sweet fan theory, and it would have been cold if it had really happened, and now I'm disappointed. But I still like the show.
I like that, like, Will, like, he's always gonna be affected with that. Like, there's a whole thing where it's like, is Will ever gonna catch a break? No.
These poor kids are gonna be messed up the rest of their lives.
And like,
but that's why I thought he was jumping back and forth in season 2, because I thought that maybe he was calling himself back to, like, he had the power to jump back and forth, because nobody else does that but him. And I thought it was because he had created this Mind Flayer monster. He didn't mean to. It's like subconsciously he had just created it.
But like the thing about when he's jumping back and forth, it's like he's not actually going there. He's just like seeing it.
Right, but he's the only one that does that.
Yeah, like he.
So that's why I think the reason he was the only one that would do that is because he had that connection that he had developed while he was there in season 1. But I'm wrong. So whatever. It just would have been sweet.
One thing is really cool that I didn't really notice until recently, because I just wasn't paying attention. In one of the posters, you see all the kids standing there, like looking at all the fun fireworks and stuff. You got Dustin and Max, like, hey, look at that, and you got Lucas over there, like, hey, that's cool. But then you have like Mike and 11 are standing in the back holding hands, and then you got Will and 11 are the two that are looking behind them with a worried face on their face.
The worried face on their face.
Yeah, a worried look on their face.
Right.
Because like everybody there is completely clueless. They just see fireworks and they're like, that's cool. But Will and 11 are the only two that would be like, oh snap, something bad's about to happen. With Will with his little Peter tingle, and with 11 just being 11 just.
Right.
That was a cool poster. I didn't realize that until like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the ad campaign was a little weak this time, because
there wasn't a lot of it.
I'll tell you the reason I even started watching the show, because when the first season came and went, and I didn't care. I was in school then. I was doing what I was doing, learning to work cameras and whatnot. But that trailer for season 2 with Thriller on it, that was one of the best trailers I ever seen, and I was like, dude, this looks good, man. I got to see it. And so that made me go and watch the first season. I was like, this is a good show. And then the second season, I watched it, and I liked it even more. So I was like, okay, this is a dope show. And I was glad. I like how, like, when the second season was taking place in Halloween, come out on Halloween. This third season take place on 4th of July, comes out on the 4th of July. I think that's just good planning.
And with at the end of the season, they're talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas. So the next season is probably going to be on either Thanksgiving or Christmas. Probably Christmas, because that's a more important holiday, I guess.
Thanksgiving, it doesn't matter. Just put them somewhere.
I mean,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, the holiday isn't really
it's not
big
important.
part of it. It's just the setting.
But I think
show.
I think they're always going to do that, though. I think it's always going to take place on a Halloween. Because
like
the first one was a Halloween, wasn't it?
I think
Season
so.
1. I don't remember.
I know that season 2 was.
Because wasn't he going out for Halloween, and that's why he got snatched up? No, they were just riding their bikes, right?
Yeah, in season 1, he was just riding back to his house.
Yeah. So I don't know what was going on.
In season 2, it was on Halloween.
Right.
In season 1, I think it was just in fall.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good show, man. I like that show. like how the characters all grow and they're becoming adults, and it's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy the show.
Really
I'm
cool.
glad we started watching it. You know, what I like about when I'm thinking about it, what I really liked about season 3 is there was never one moment where I thought, "Gosh, you're stupid."
Yeah.
Like in season 2, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
My man did not have to get eaten.
No, because, like, why would you come through a door where there's a bunch of demodogs chasing you, just stand there like, oh, hi.
Like,
Instead of
just looking at her
down.
like, I made it. Just standing there. I'm like, what are you doing? Get out of there.
He was such a good character, too. And
You
you
know.
just, instead of just leaving the building,
Why
which
wouldn't
I feel like everybody
he would
that
have
was...
done. He would have kept
Yeah.
running. They would have been outside. He'd been like, okay, hey,
Yeah,
look
I
at me.
feel like everybody that was in there really wants to get out of that building. 'Cause there's some traumatic stuff that they're
Right,
seeing in there.
right.
So they really want to get out, but he just comes there and he's like, nice.
Something I didn't like about season 3, I forgot, is the little girl. She annoyed me.
Yeah, she was kind of...
She's kind of annoying. And it's nothing against her as an actor. I think she was just doing what she was told, but
In the other season, she was fine, but...
because you only saw her for like a sec, but she's just this annoying smartass. I just felt like somebody should smack her, you know, but it's like, stop being so annoying. But I think maybe next season, because at the end she had kind of a smile because she's like, you know, you're one of us, you're a nerd. I think maybe she'll lighten up a little bit because she's just a
it
little
was like
too
the
much.
Dungeons and Dragons stuff when she
Yeah.
looked at it, she was like...
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think
like that.
in the next season she'll be nerdy.
Yeah, just bring her. Don't
just
have her be
won't be-
so mean and nasty because I didn't like it. I got bored with that. But you know, it's a minor irritant. I liked it. It took place in a mall. You know,
That was really cool.
That
And
little-
how there was like a whole minor side story about the mall ruining people's jobs and stuff.
Yeah,
That
did happen, and now the mall's jobs are being ruined by people like you surfing on the internet. Go to the store.
Yeah, go to the malls.
Malls are dead,
I like
man.
malls.
Malls are dead. I do
They're
too,
nice.
man. The malls are dead.
They're awesome.
Dude. They're gonna be gone, dude.
I hope that they like make a comeback or something.
Maybe in like
malls-
10, 15 years, be a nostalgia thing. You know, people will start making small malls that people will go to.
Cause strip malls suck.
Strip malls no, they're bad. I don't like
But like the real malls, those are so good. They got
They're
everything that you need.
They're awesome.
Got the food court, top quality.
Not
You got-
anymore. Now there'd be
Yeah.
like one
Yeah, like
vendor in the
it
food
makes me
court.
sad going to the mall now because there's like
It
nothing
does,
there.
it does,
All
I
the
know,
stores
I
are all
hate it.
closed out and stuff.
I loved going to the mall when I was a kid. You don't get that experience that I got. But you get to watch Stranger Things and see how it was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I wish that I could just go back, like bring a couple of my friends and just go back in time and hang out at the mall.
Dude, we had arcades.
Yeah, like now with the malls,
Like an arcade, not that little crap you
Yeah,
got at
like
the
there
mall
would
now.
be, like,
No, we
actual
had
arcades.
an arcade with tons of machines in there, and it was fun, man. It was.
Yeah, like
80s was fun.
All the arcade.
80s
like,
was a fun time.
Most of the arcades and malls that I'm aware of, usually just a bunch of like those little rides that like shake and you put your kid on it and
Yeah.
just see them do that, and a couple of like pinball games, and sometimes like at the Meridian, I think Meridian's the one we come to Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the Meridian Mall, you know, they got some cool games in there, like the
Right.
Walking Dead one, and they got the giant Space Invaders.
Okay.
Yeah,
Going
this
back.
entire show
Okay.
had barely anything to do with season 3 of Stranger Things.
Well, I'm gonna cut out a lot of that stuff, but
Just like
I do
not
like the
just
mall. I do
review
like a lot
whole
of the
show.
mall stuff because I like that they can show you things that I got to experience as a kid that just aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
And the mall was a place to hang out, man. It just was. You go hang out there with your friends.
And watching Bill and Ted when they're at the mall.
Yeah,
That was also really
same
cool.
thing.
I love that movie.
But,
Can't wait
okay.
till they make a new one.
Stranger Things season 3. We both really liked it.
Bob
I
Diggins.
actually changed my review.
Mm-hmm.
I changed my verdict because it really is enjoyable. I didn't like it as much as him. I think they're slipping narratively a little bit, but I still really liked it. You know, these characters are just clutch, man, and these actors just nail it.
They're perfect.
I like the new characters. You know, I like the Russian dude too. Poor guy.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Like
I thought.
Alexei, I think that's his
Yeah, I
name.
thought he was. I liked his character. I thought the way they turned him into this guy that you really kind of liked.
Yeah, at the beginning you're
You know.
like, man, this
I ain't
dude. Like, it's just.
This dude.
But then towards the end, you're like,
I like
this
guy.
dude's really cool.
And then, and then he gets it. And not even in a cool way.
No,
He just goes out like a little punk, man.
But at the same time, that it's in slow motion, he gets shot like through stuff.
Yeah.
This season has a high body count. Like, everybody's dying in this.
All of them got a high body count, man.
Not as much.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
this one's got more than.
This has the most casualties.
I felt bad that them people, like, when the Blob finally was killed. I wanted all them people to come back.
They couldn't come back. They were gush.
I know, but I want the gush to reform the people in them.
And there were so many people there, and a lot of them looked like normal people, like old
like kids, and
like
stuff.
old ladies, and there were like children. And
and they just all dead. All dead.
It's horrible.
All a bunch
and
of
they
gush.
like show you, like, the camera like stands there and watch them all walk in a line and falling down, melting, and you see like their skeletons stuff like crushing down.
They're all gush now, man, and they're dead.
And like the little skin bubbles popping on the thing. It's disgusting.
It is gross, man.
It starts off with the rats, and like that's like
that
gross.
was gross.
That was gross enough as it is. Now they're doing it with humans. Like,
yeah, it was pretty gross. But I mean, it's still a good show.
It is a great show.
I enjoyed it.
The nastiness adds to it. It's disgusting, but
right. So what just out of curiosity, like I told you, what I would like to see. I'd like to see them go get some of Elle's siblings and them come back and be evil. You have to deal with that. What would you like to see? Anything you would like to see, or you just like me? Just go ahead and tell me the story, and I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't really do much conspiracy theories.
Anything you'd like to see more of that maybe you saw that you liked, or any relationship you'd like to see more of, or that you like?
I mean, I definitely want to see more of Steve and Robin, and just Robin in general.
Me too.
Hope they don't like mess her up in the next season.
I like to see.
Suck.
I like to see more.
Yeah, and I hope that this season comes soon. I know it's not going to, but I need it.
You gotta wait at least a year.
What if somebody really wanted to watch Stranger Things, but they didn't watch it until the season finale, so then they could just watch all of it in like a couple weeks?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That happens. People do that.
That'd be nice. But at the same time,
I know a cat
just did
that with Game of Thrones. He had never watched any of them, and he watched all of it. In a month, he watched the whole thing.
Has nothing to do with season 3.
No. You pretty much understand. I'll say it. We love Stranger Things. I do too.
We do.
I do.
Yeah.
You, adore it.
I mean, I'm probably
you're like a huge fan. I just really, I love it, but I don't. I'm not gaga.
The new Stranger Things game just came out recently. I'm gonna want to get. I'm broke. Can't buy things.
Right, me too. But we apologize. We haven't. We haven't been making that many videos because
we've been busy. A lot of crappy stuff is going on.
Yeah. Well, we're dealing with it. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody who's tuned in, and for the private messages from friends like, "Hey, when are you guys gonna review something again?" I appreciate that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think the last review we did was Godzilla. We really weren't feeling that movie.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a part of me feels bad about that because it's a good movie, but then a part of me is like, nah, y'all messed up.
I know, but at least we just reviewed Spider-Man, Far From Home, and that one we had no problem giving it some praise. And Stranger Things season 3, we have no problem giving it some praise. So far,
Stranger Things in general, watch it.
Things is turning out pretty good.
I don't care what movie you like, what genre you like, watch it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
If you haven't watched Stranger Things yet, and you're not old and do stuff other than
I'm old and do stuff other.
If you're not like my sister and you don't watch anything, then watch it.
Dude, talking about old people. I'm old. I'm middle-aged.
An old dude that doesn't understand how to watch TV and doesn't have Netflix. Too bad. Watch it.
All right. Okay.
Find it. Do the free trial on Netflix. You just gotta type in your email and password and watch it.
Okay. All right.
Watch the show.
So watch it, and then we will, I guess, see you next time on Artsy Home Movies, Father Son Reviews. Peace.